Hello, my fellow shooting mechanics. So you may be looking back there and wondering, what are all these guns? Well, easy answer. I thought I was watching television. It's still paused on the TV. I was watching television, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to take you through the guns I have and the guns that I owned and the history behind some of them. Long story short about most of these is that they're all like hand-me-down weapons, like weapons my grandfather's grandfather bought. Like some of these weapons, like my grandfather's grandfather bought one of these Ithaca shotguns for $14 to go shoot raccoons that were out in his field. Never took it back and decided to keep it. Anyway, so I think I want to save what would you consider best for last, like most capable or just coolest overall? I'll save coolest overall probably for last. Alright. First up, starting out small. This is a 410 break barrel shotgun. Single action, has a hammer. The trigger goes back. You flip it like this. It should say by J. Stevens Arms, and made in Chicopee Falls, Missouri. There you go. It's funny as this thing is, it doesn't say like a model number or anything on it. It just says where it was made. It's Springfield, manufactured by J. Stevens Arms. 3-inch chamber, and it says it's forged steel. Yeah, there's no other numbers on it. Weird. I haven't really noticed that. The second is, this is an Ithaca Model 37. Right? Yep, okay. So, fun thing about these, it's a slam fire. Listen very closely. Hear that? In fact, every shotgun I have is slam fire except for my Browning. But yeah, that's this Ithaca Model 37. This is actually the one my great grandfather bought to shoot raccoons. Next, I have this Mauser. It was bought by I can't remember if it was bought or brought over by my great grandfather. Apparently, sometimes they let you keep a bunch of stuff that you get and you find and things like that. Now, this fires an 8mm Mauser. It is bolt action. It's a nice gun. I've hunted deer with this before, and it does pretty good. Has an internal 5-round magazine in here. I wish I had my Lee Enfield to show, but that's out of state at the moment. Let's see. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is already. So this is a Model 1890. This is a Model 97. Also known as the trench gun. The only difference between this gun and the trench gun is the trench gun has like that heat shroud over it with a shorter barrel with a bayonet. It also might have a shorter buttstock, but all the action, that's all the same. And what separates this from a lot of shotguns out there is, see that hammer? Ready? Yeah, and see that hammer? Watch, if I just cock it back, holds it back. Now if I pull the trigger, cock it back, bring it up slowly. This thing needs to be cleaned. Oh shit. And also slam fire your gun, so you can just This needs to be cleaned and oiled, but it's not as smooth as it was a couple weeks ago. And this thing hasn't worked ever since I was a little kid. And it's just a 22 lever action with an optic on it that's probably worth more than the rifle itself 3 times over. But it has a problem feeding, and I think the barrel has an imperfection. It's just shredding those casings apart, and it's not feeding them. But you know, if it ever were fixed, it's a fun gun to shoot. It's not a bad gun if it worked. And don't worry about me walking in front of all the barrels of these guns. I've checked them all and they're all unloaded. Except for this one. I always keep that one loaded, don't ask why. Anyway, this is a Model 88. What I like to take this pheasant hunting because it's short, it's light, it's easier to control, and when I snap it in, I don't have to adjust my sight. It's already there. It's perfect. That's why I love this thing so much. See, this gun it's very short. It's this long. Very short. Not to mention it's easy to cycle. It's a very nice weapon for the price. I'll give it that. You know, Maverick really knows how to make a good economic shotgun. This here is my Browning. I don't know if you can see the design on it or not. Has it on both sides, but the one on the other side is different. Anyway, I like this Browning. I felt like it was always a good buy. I just felt it's just not a very smooth shotgun, and it's a little bit long for me. I need something short and controllable so I don't have my arm all the way out here trying to hold it up, because I'm like, and next is a handgun. This is what's called a Ruger Single 6. Weighs 35 ounces, which is a lot for a 22 pistol. And right now I have the 22 Magnum cylinder in it. I also have the 22 long rifle cylinder as well. And this one is loaded. I forgot to mention that, but that's what this fires. It's 22 Magnum. As you can see, it's exceptionally taller than the 22 long rifle. It's a 40 grain bullet. It travels at like 1,600 feet a second. Even I'm not completely sure. And let's see. And here over my hunting rifles. This fires a 257 Roberts, has a 5-round internal magazine. It's a Ruger M77. There's a very good optic on here. I actually shot my first deer with this. The 257 Roberts is a very capable deer hunting round. It's only a 25 caliber bullet, but it travels fast and it hits pretty hard. I actually shot my first deer with this, and this was back when I was like 14 or something, 14, 15, so I saw the youth tag, so I was allowed to shoot a doe or a fawn if I wanted. And I shot that fawn from about 300 yards. It's a very nice long range weapon. It really is. I've learned how to, you know, fire some really good groups with this. Next, this one's a big guy. Not really in size, but in the bullet it fires. Yeah, that's what I thought. Winchester. Yeah, Winchester. Winchester Model 70. This fires a 7mm Magnum, which is a pretty hefty round. You know what to say about those, they kill on one side and injure on the other. This one also has a more expensive optic on it. It's a lot more clear, and it's hashed and everything for bullet drop and wind and things like that. Also, this thing is a little bit too long for me to use, so I generally like using that Mauser. It's a little bit easier for me. And we're almost done here. I'm sure you guys know what this is. Don't hate me for it. I've gotten, when I first got this magazine, this is a Norinco SKS. When I first got this magazine, it wasn't cycling, but I managed to make it fit and do a little bit of filing in the chamber so that those bullets slide up in. Now it fires 75 out of 75 rounds I put in this. It has not, ever since I fixed it, it has not jammed up on me a single time. It's a semi-automatic. You got your safety right here. So that puts your finger right by the trigger, so it's pretty natural. Put it back up. It's a nice rifle. I like it. In fact, sometimes I have a little bit too much fun shooting this thing. I go through ammo pretty quickly. Gosh, I go through so much ammo every week. It's crazy. Oh, and before I go, yes, this is it is a gas operated rifle. It's similar in one way to the AK-47, where it's a semi-automatic, gas-powered rifle. That's pretty much where the similarities end. Or whatever civilian AK, whatever they call it, no, whatever. Anyway. And when I say best for last, I meant coolest for last. Here we are. Oh my god. Went and fired this thing about a month ago. It's probably the first time it was fired in like 30 years. If you guys don't know what this is a muzzle loader. It fires a 50 caliber ball. And the thing about this is this has a hair trigger on it. And I know this muzzle loader isn't loaded because I haven't just loaded it and put it back in the closet. Also, right, there's no powder in there. So, first thing you do is you dump your powder charge down. Then you have a little tool. It looks like a little ball and has like a stick poking out of it. And you put your powder charge down. Then you put your wad and your ball sitting in the middle on the barrel, centered up with each other. And you get the ball and you kind of hit it like that, which kind of puts it down. Then you get the stick on the end, and you push it down. That pushes it down about that far. That's when you get this, and you force it the rest of the way down. Another way I know it's not loaded. If it was loaded, this wouldn't be reaching that far. If it was loaded, it'd be sitting about right here. If I'm fast, I can fire this rifle 3 times in like a minute and a quarter or something like that. Then what you do is you set your trigger to half cock. And usually that's when you would try to put on your percussion cap. Then you pull back all the way, and you can put your percussion cap on there at that time if you so choose. And this has 2 triggers. One trigger sets the other. So first you pull this one, and now this trigger is ready to go. This is what's called a hair trigger. It is very sensitive. I barely have to touch it for this thing to go off. But since I'm not a fan of dry firing this muzzle loader, I'll just pull the trigger and just, kind of ride it home. It's such a sensitive trigger. I don't know how they managed that. And it's actually pretty accurate. It's actually a decently accurate rifle. I'm impressed. And if you can't see, this thing's kind of old. And I know they make kits and stuff. I mean, like, I think this was made from a kit, but when I say kind of old, I mean it was built like from a kit or something by my great-grandfather or my great-grandfather. So it's still like a solid 70 years old. Same with my Enfield. My Enfield's like, what, 75 years old now? What's this like? And as you can see, most of the guns I own, vast majority are shotguns like I got. You know, I have a semi-automatic rifle, 3 bolt actions, several shotguns, a pistol, and a muzzleloader. I also have a 45 semi-automatic pistol, but I don't want to get into where that's at right now. I had some troubles with it, and it's getting fixed. Anyway, this was kind of like an impulse video. I get it. I know. Like, I probably wasn't making a lot of sense. It probably dragged on, but I'm gonna cut it off right here so it doesn't have to be any longer. You guys have a good day. Bye.